Hello, everyone. It is an absolute joy to host you all on this special occasion of International Women's Day at this unique initiative by ETHRWorld, Women Trailblazers. Allow me to take this opportunity to wish you all the women on behalf of ETHRWorld a very happy Women's Day, not to forget the male counterparts who support them in their journey. Let's raise a toast to equality and inclusivity. You are all strong, beautiful, compassionate, and super inspiring in everything you do. Thank you for being you. Let me now start today's session, a fireside chat on the next normal, how we work, grow, and lead. To take this conversation forward, I have with me Sheenam Ohrie, COO, Broadridge Financial Solutions. Sheenam is responsible for crafting and executing the India strategy that includes leading India centers of excellence across technology, innovation, operations, consulting, IT, and compliance. A key aspect of her role is to leverage synergies and best practices across the business units, provide flexibility and scalability, and ensure that the organization is future ready from a talent and industry perspective. She brings with her deep expertise and leadership excellence in all aspects of product engineering, global delivery, product management, and executive leadership roles. She is a catalyst, thinker, proficient in designing and delivering beautiful customer experiences through digital transformation, design, and automation. Prior to joining Broadridge, Sheena was the VP of Dell Digital Services and an APJ CIO leader at Dell Technologies. As a diversity and inclusion evangelist, Sheenam recognizes the value of being a respected leader in the industry and impacting change for the better. She has received several industry recognitions during her career. She was most recently awarded and recognized as the Karnataka Women Leader of the Year 2021 by World Women Leadership Congress. Glad to have you with us, Sheenam.
Absolutely an honor and delight to be here. Happy Women's Day to you too.
Thank you, Sheenam. I have next now with me Anisha Parashar, founder and CEO, The Women's Company. Anika is a powerhouse of a woman and a name that is synonymous with several brands focused on women's care and health. Her work over 2 decades have been highly respected and given credit through a well-deserved feature in the third edition of 50 Women of Pure Wonder in India and the Pride of India Award. She kicked off her professional career in India at Mahindra Retail in 2008 when she relocated from London, setting up mom and me stores and centers for expecting and new mothers as part of their complete offering of both products and services. With investment from Fortis Healthcare, she founded Mama Mia in 2011, India's first and only comprehensive holistic health chain spanning across the nation. She moved into the role of CEO of Fortis La Femme in 2015, where she led the team to successfully expand the brand from 1 to 4 hospitals across the country. When faced with the challenge of finding a donor heart for her mother, Anika realized the need for a dependable, organized system that Indian families could rely on to support them and help out their ailing loved ones. Organ India, Organ Giving and Receiving Awareness Network, was born in 2013 and focuses on spreading awareness about organ donation and transplant across India. Our aim is to continue sharing her professional and personal experiences and inspire those around her, especially women, to live authentic lives and discover the limitless power within themselves. Glad to have you with us, Anika.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So it is such a pleasure having you both today with us at this interaction. To roll out the discussion, let me address the first question of this session to both of you. Maybe Sheenam, you can take this first. So we have changed in terms of how we work and certainly how we lead, which is also the focus point of this discussion. Would you like to share any examples of how you have transformed your leadership style in the past few years or draw a comparative pre and post pandemic times?
And thank you for that, Apeksha. I think the pandemic times, has really changed the way we see the world around us. It has changed the way we live our own lives, right? And um, uh, I don't think anybody can say that their leadership style has not changed, therefore, during this period. As an India-based leader, we were never used to working from home. And literally over a weekend, right, we had to enable organizations across, right, whichever organization you were in. At that point of time, I was with Dell. Whichever IT organization or whichever other organization had to enable all their employees to work from home. Cultures had to change, engagement models had to change, the way you would lead had to change, right? If you're in an environment of an office, right, you could just go around telling people, okay, let's go for a cup of tea. And in a very non-formal kind of setup, you could actually talk to people, engage with them, understand issues, and take that forward. In an environment where everything is either on a Teams or a WebEx or a Zoom or something like this that we're talking, which is everything virtual, you have to show respect for other person's calendar. You have to show respect for other person's time. You have to also understand that once you're at home, there will be interruptions. You have to show empathy towards that. So leadership styles, in my opinion, have now transformed to far more empathetic in nature, and I'm not far away, right, from that. Um, Sensitivity to what's happening at a home environment, sensitivities to issues in a home environment, sensitivity to the fact that if you're at home, people at home expect you to spend time with them, be available for issues that you would normally somebody else would have handled, right? So those kind of things have to come into your work relationships with your people and with with your employees. And I think that's really something, the way leadership styles have changed.
Sure, Sheenam. Thank you for that. Anika, your perspective here.
I completely agree with Sheenam. I think there's a drastic difference between before pandemic and during, and we're not yet post pandemic, but definitely during. Um, I was working with a corporate before the pandemic, which is Fortis, and then I started my own entrepreneurial venture, which is the woman's company during the pandemics. We started on the 8th of March, exactly 2 years ago today. And then 2 weeks later, we went into lockdown. um, so leadership styles in terms of definitely sensitivities to people, keeping in mind the work and home divide really being blurred now, because both were sitting in the same place. So where you could leave your home life behind, come to work, separate it, and go back to it. Of course, there would be crosses that happened, to teams and to everybody when there was an emergency or when there was something personal that cropped up. But there was a real divide between the hours of the day. Now the thing is that there's no divide, and I mean, forget leadership, even me as a person, it's been extremely challenging because you've got the kids at home, you've got work at home, you're building a business, you're trying to do it all online. Um, and it's not easy because those lines are blurred. There's a stark difference in getting dressed in a certain manner, putting your best foot forward and going into a workspace versus wearing your track pants and a
Yeah.
blazer on top in screen. And the mode is just different, so your whole attitude changes even with that. And even in terms of leadership, the sense of the need to motivate has been far greater, I think, because sitting at home, it's been hard for people. People have been working through COVID, people have been working through their relatives having COVID. They've been in and out of hospitals, they've lost friends and family members. There's a lethargy that's kind of set in, there's been mental health issues that have cropped up. So to be able to keep all of that in check, leadership has seen a whole new level of mentoring and coaching, I think, coming in to the forefront in these last few years.
Absolutely, Anika. So while we discuss the transformation in leadership styles and all, I'm sure there'll also be differences how leading different genders across the organization. And you being at the pivot of your organizations, how are you looking at growing and nurturing more women for leadership positions in various roles in your organization? So Anika, if you can take that up first.
So, Peksha, when I started the women's committee, so I was leading a chain of women's hospitals. Okay, it doesn't get more women than that. From the patients to literally to the workforce that was there as well. Now to the women's company, which deals with feminine hygiene products, and I think that anyway, women have to be able to be in decision making roles and in top positions in key spaces of leadership. But I'm talking about myself particularly, and my organization is that we're catering to women audiences. And so we should have women there, and we should have women leading those spaces in understanding, what our consumers want, helping them communicate it, etc. I when we were starting out, my co-founder Rupam, I had asked her to become co-founder, and she was pregnant. So she said, "But how can I do this? How can I do this?" So I said, why can't you? You're just pregnant.
Correct.
You're not sick. And give yourself that chance. And she did it. And I'm sure it was tough on her. I'm sure it was really tough on her, birthing both the woman's company and her son at the same time, and then growing them both to age 2 in the last 2 years amidst a pandemic. And but I don't think she's had a harder time, at least not on the face of it, by my understanding. And I do hope we talk a lot, than everybody else out there. So I really believe that women have this incredible ability to cope, to take on, to multitask, to juggle many balls in the air. And so I do hope, at least in my organization and all organizations, but I have the space here and in Organ, and both in Organ, which is my NGO, and the Women's Company, the top positions are women. And I hope we can keep nurturing that, and adding to that as we grow.
Absolutely, Anika. And Sheenam, your take on this, and if you can also, allow me to take the liberty of adding an audience question to this, which is also around the same theme, but they're asking if, is pandemic kind of opened an opportunity for women to return to work for more women because the remote working and all those things, which have, provided them certain kind of a flexibility. So if you can just add both and share your perspective.
Absolutely, Apeksha. There are two things that I would say are opening up opportunities for, women to return back to work, right, and return back to their careers and whatever chosen careers that they want to do. One is the fact that, with the pandemic, uh, most organizations are going to go back into an hybrid mode. Nobody is going back to back to site, come back to a physical office kind of model ever. Right? We have experimented, we have shown that we could work remote, we have shown that we have productivity remote. So women who want to, for example, do a part-time kind of work or want to work from a location that is away from a physical office today have the opportunity to do that. Right. The second thing that has happened, okay, and as a consequence of the pandemic, is that there has been immense amount of investment that has been pouring into all kinds of digital transformations that we want to do, whether it's workforce transformation, security transformation, IT transformation in terms of modernizing infrastructure to go to the cloud to support the anytime, anywhere kind of working environments that we have today. Uh, uh, there is a very, very hard battle for talent. There is a limited availability of talent, and everybody today wants to accelerate their journey into these kind of transformations. So there is going to be a need for much higher talent. That having said, women have a very fabulous opportunity here to come back and say, I am available for 4 hours every day. I am available on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I am available for 6 hours every day. Do you want me? And I'm sure organizations today are going to grab those opportunities. Back to you, Apeksha.
Thank you, Sheenam. And if you also would like to, share some stories or examples of growing and nurturing more women for leadership positions in your organization.
I think some of the things that we do is, first of all, we have a lot of internal job postings, right? So women and men have the opportunity to look at diverse roles across the organization and decide when they are ready for role rotations. But more than that, I think the concept of mentoring and sponsorship is really, really key. And that's something that we do very well in our organization. Um, uh, we have different kinds of mentoring, setups, if I may use that word, in the organization. For junior and fresher level entry, we have mentor circles where we collect women together and that have the same interests, and then there is a buddy or a sponsor or a mentor more than anything else that guides women through those kind of life challenges. Then there is the entire thing about the middle management, where there is one-on-one mentoring, and you help them go through typically some challenges, either at a work front or personal life front, or just a career journey, or technology, product management, whatever space they are. So depending on whether it is domain related, technology related, or life related, you have different kinds of mentoring available. And the last bit is for the people for the women who are entering into executive positions and who are at that rung of their career, right? More important than mentoring is, whom do you know, right? So attaching them to a sponsor who has a seat on the table, both globally and locally, is very, very important. So that's something that we do very well. The other things that we do for women is, lessons in leadership kind of thing, where we invite industry leaders to come and talk. And therefore, just by sheer induction of hearing how life's journeys have been, okay, you figure out, oh, I'm not alone. This problem, if that person has overcome, I can also overcome. And these need not just be women, right? These are men and women from the industry who come and talk about their life journeys, their struggles, their overcoming of challenges and stuff like that. So those are kind of frameworks that we've got, Apeksha.
That is great to know, Sheenam. And moving forward to the next question, which is also on leadership, but it is your personal perspective on it. So, Anika, if I can go to you first for this. So, being a woman leader, what do you consider as the most rewarding and most challenging part of your job? You have been into corporates and you're running your own organization. How have things changed? And if you can throw some light on this question.
Um, I don't think that it's. I mean, being a leader, there's a lot that's challenging, and there's a lot that is rewarding. But I don't think it's different being a man or being a woman. I don't think that's a gender specific thing. Um, rewarding is that when your teams succeed. Rewarding is when you have given somebody an opportunity and they thrive at it, or when you meet your targets, or when you've raised a funding, or you've achieved whatever goal, or you've met your budgets. My point is that those are your successes. Your successes are not only yours, but they're also the organization's successes, and they're also your team members' successes. So it's as a leader, you kind of it becomes personal, in terms of the growth of the team, the growth of the company, the growth of yourself. They are all kind of, personal bits. In terms of challenges, I think as a woman, that may be a little unique, where you have the house or the home as well as the workplace. But that also may be unfair in today's day and age, because there are a lot of men that contribute to homes. So I don't want to be general in these statements now on gender, and I never want it to be that as women we are we're I don't want it to become post an equality game. It should become more of like an issue of us, almost trying to push ourselves, using it as a stepping stone. It should never be, gender should never be used as a stepping stone, or used as as arms from that perspective. I've had a unique situation, Apeksha. I lost my parents very young. I'm a single mother myself, and I've been working and building business, and that has its challenges. So to be able to balance all of that, and take care of the home front while you are, nurturing a company. So you're nurturing both ends, and that becomes a challenge, which I don't know if it's unique to just women or if it's unique to just me. So I mean, I'd like to just speak about it from the perspective that everybody really has a unique story here, and everybody has a unique set of challenges. So for me as a leader, that has been challenging. My own personal journey while growing and nurturing companies, keeping that balance of, yes, I'm a woman, and yes, I have certain challenges there, but that doesn't mean that I can use that as any excuse. I'm also an equal player, in the field.
Great thoughts, Anika. So, if we can build a little on this, there's some questions which you're talking about. So, are there more of internal factors which play, specific to women? Are there more internal factors than externals which kind of hinder their progress in the professional field? Anika, I would like your opinion here.
Are there any internal
More of
or
the
external?
external factors, like they're being more conscious about themselves, or guilt ridden about not being catering to
Or you
both
mean within
parts
yourself versus?
kind of thing.
Yes.
Then external factors, which are hindering their growth.
I think they're both there. For every naysayer that's out there who's going to tell you that you can't do it, or that you shouldn't do it, or that it's not a good idea, there's also your own voice of self doubt. And that goes for anybody. I'm sure it's men as well as women. I mean, I have many men friends who speak of the same things. We're just perhaps, more vulnerable and stronger about our vulnerability to voice that, or to talk about that. And that's the unique strength of a woman, is that she's not afraid to be vulnerable. She doesn't have to be afraid to be vulnerable. We're quite comfortable with our vulnerability, and that's just a unique skill and quality that we have as women. The internal voice is damning. It's a killer, Apeksha, because that's the one that actually says you're at work and the voice calls you back home. You're at home and the voice calls you back at work. And that's what I've actually found challenging during the pandemic, is calming that voice down, because the voice is 24 in both things, you see, without the boundaries of being able to go to work and
Correct.
come back from work. It's that lack of boundary, which is that you're always at it. I'm in this, and I can hear, the dog is barking outside and my daughter's running, up and down. So I'm wondering what's going on, while I'm on this chat. So that is the been the interesting thing to balance out during this pandemic. So very much so, the internal voice or the internal challenges are there.
Absolutely, Anika. I think we all resonate with those thoughts there. Sheenam, coming to you, what has been your most rewarding and challenging aspect of being a leader?
I think the most rewarding and I would say challenging too aspect of giving a leader is how do you frame feedback, right? You can tell a person that you're good, you can tell a person that you're not good. But if you don't substantiate that with evidence, with data, and you don't tell the person how they can be better, right? I don't think you're doing justice to the role of a leader, to being somebody's leader. And when somebody sits in front of you and you're going through, your understanding of the person and telling that person the path to change, the path to their transformation, and creating the reasons why that is necessary, and possibly a path to that change. I think that's the most rewarding thing that you can do as a leader. That's also challenging because there are times when somebody has worked with you for a long time and you know the person in and out, and still you need to be objective because there will be definitely some attachment. There would be times when the biases work for you, and you may not, the other person and you may not be congruent on certain values, and you still need to be fair, and you still need to give those. So those are also challenges for a leader, right? How do you keep your own biases, both favorable and not so favorable, out of such discussions?
Sure, Sheenam, great thoughts there. And, while we are here today discussing the role of women leadership, what would you recommend to women professionals who wish to lead business or maybe turn entrepreneurs, from your experience of your journeys, if you would like to share something with them? What would you
So
recommend?
if I have to give one line answer, Apeksha, to that, I know a lot of women who want to be successful, who are very intelligent and want to do it, but somewhere they use the excuse of lack of time. Okay, I have to be a mother, I have to be a daughter, I have to be a daughter-in-law, I have to be a wife, I also have to do, I don't have time. If you want to do something, time will happen, right? Prioritize your life. Don't fall behind, the issue or to my mind, an excuse of time. You have to continuously keep learning, you have to continuously keep evolving, and you have to be relevant to the field that you are in. So if you're not continuously learning, you're not up to date, and you don't find the time to do that, you will never grow to a business position. That would be one thing that I would really advise women to do. Second, like Anika said, Get rid of that voice, get rid of the guilt, right? You cannot be in two places at the same time. At some point, it'll be important to be the mother. At some point, it'll be important to be the professional. Decide what is the priority at that point of time and take the call and be happy with it. That would be my two things.
Great, Sheenam, and I think it is the most important thing as well. So, Anika, your thoughts here.
So I'm backing up Sheenam on this. I'm just going to add one more point to it on time is how bad do you want it? That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. How bad you want it. Because if you want it bad enough, you have the time to do everything. I found myself making the lamest excuses about things and then really questioning myself and realizing it's because I don't really want to do it, you know, and then coming to a point where I have endless amounts of time to do stuff that just don't make any sense to to in from a time perspective because they take up a lot of time. So it's how bad you want it. If you want it bad enough, then go out and seek it. The second thing would be blinders, because you will have a lot of people along the way being a woman on a journey for sure. And then on the entrepreneurial side particularly, there will be many people who come to you and say you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. The idea is too nascent, it's too soon, the time's not right. There'll be a lot of roadblocks. And I think what's really worked for me is having blinders on. So literally just focusing on the goal, focusing on the outcome, and just not giving way to what ifs. Just focusing eye on the ball. I think that has really worked for me as well. So I think those would be my two things: how bad you want it, and then if you want it bad enough, ignore the noise and just focus on your own, your own conviction and your own determination.
Absolutely, Anika. So, Sheenam, Anika, both of you, because it's International Women's Day today, and we would, like to have you having some, if you would like to make some special mentions to your support systems or mentors on this day who have, helped you or motivated you in your journeys this far. Any one of you can take the lead. Sheenam, if you want to go ahead first.
I think I will want to thank my family. Like Anika said, uh, your spouse is really going to be your biggest supporter always. So thank you, Alok. Thank you, Mapa. Thank you, Mummy. Um, you, we can't do this without our families. We just cannot do it. So I think thank you for that. There are a lot of people that I know of, ex-bosses, friends, that if I'm in a dilemma, I just pick up the phone and call, and I get very objective advice. So thank you to all my friends, all my mentors, all my guides. You have a special place always.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sheenam. Anika,
So I think first to my teams, both Organ and TWC, because teamwork is dreamwork. Honestly, without them, there would be no organizations. For my children, and their endless patience, um, I, I don't have a spouse or parents, but my children, I think, have really shown their sense of resilience and capability in supporting a working mother, fulfilling her own dreams along the way. So I'm very, very grateful for them. And I too have, been blessed to have, a whole bunch of mentors, angels, evangelists along the way who've really supported me, who've held me up when I wanted to run away, and kept me on course, and given me advice, and coaching, and sometimes just given me a safe space to say what I may need to say. And I really wish that everybody gets that in some form or the other. So yes, I think I'd like to acknowledge all of these people and wish everyone a happy Women's Day.
thank you, both of you. So, finally, to conclude this session, your special message to all the women who are listening into this conversation on this occasion of International Women's Day, your wishes or your special message to them in one line. Sheenam?
I would say break the bias in your own mind. Going back to what Anika said, you can do it, and if you believe you can, uh, you will. So trust yourself, believe in yourself, be confident. You are your biggest friend and ally.
Thank you, Sheenam. Anika, your message.
Mine is to be yourself, to be authentic, because there is no one else you can be. So you might as well be the best that you are, and be true to yourself. Uh, and that's the one. That's the way you're going to achieve the most amount of success in any aspect of your life. Is actually when you're true to yourself.
Thank you, Sheenam, Anika, both of you. This was a very thought provoking and inspiring conversation. I so thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot from both of you. It was an honor to host you today at Women Trailblazers. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.